emails or groups or different people to say, hey, thank you ADOT for putting this on, and it's, we really are thankful for this, it's necessary, and just positive emails. And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring this morning's KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, everyone. Chris Higgins in the studio. Hope you're having a great Wednesday morning, and hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July weekend, a great, again, fireworks celebration and display in Green Valley Park this year. So a big thank you to the Town of Payson, Parks and Recreation staff, and everyone, our first responders, everyone that was out there working, making that possible for everyone in the community to enjoy. And now let's keep praying for that rain because hopefully it looks like next week maybe there's a chance of some rain, so it'd be wonderful. But before then, gonna have some higher temperatures, but still not that bad, not nearly as bad as Phoenix or the Valleys, so still very, very blessed. Well, this morning in the studio we have District 1 County Supervisor for Gila County, Steve Christensen. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning to RIM Country today.
Yeah, and how were you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, really fantastic. So,
wonderful. How was your 4th?
4th was great. A lot of people in town. I don't know if you noticed, but
no, I missed that.
Yeah, a lot of people in town. So hopefully we'll garner a little bit of sales tax off of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There will be. It's a big day for businesses in town, and yeah, definitely a lot of people spending money here in Payson, in RIM Country, and that's a wonderful thing.
It is. Tourism is a wonderful thing. They come, they leave their money, and then they go home.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, that's real nice, and everything that that money provides for.
Absolutely.
And goes towards it.
Well, as you well know, it fuels the town of Payson government. It also fuels Gila County government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, that's just a lot of revenue, and yeah, talking to some business owners. The weekend it was just nonstop for them. It was very busy. A lot of people in the park, Green Valley Park, to enjoy the show, and yeah, it's and overall, I think a safe weekend. Didn't hear of any major incidents, so that's great.
No fires.
Yeah, except possibly a tree maybe by the fireworks or something.
They've had a couple lightning strikes, small fires, but because the monsoon seemed to start up the earliest I've ever seen it, and I've heard people say rain in June means no monsoon, but it looks to me like we are going to continue with it. The heat is going to be going up again this week, and which should trigger some more. Yeah, and that's a good thing. We haven't had a good monsoon in a long time.
No, it would be it'd be great to just get a lot of rain. I know somebody talking with them, they said, oh, I just would really like the slow, steady rains. I'm like, well, that's not monsoon season. Maybe towards the end or after. But
that's more of a winter type thing.
Yeah,
we need those too.
Yes.
But so we'll take it any way the Lord gives it.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
that is so true. So yeah, a lot of things happening with the county. I know budget.
Sure is. Yeah.
Yeah, budget. Has that been finalized?
It's almost finalized. So we did vote on a tentative budget. Now the budget year for the county does end in June, starts July 1st, and so it's not like the year where the new year is in January. So our fiscal year just ended. We've passed a tentative budget, which is got a lot of magnificent things in it.
Yes.
And so what they do is they then put it all together, and we're going to vote on that coming up on the mid-July, and then it should be finalized. I don't see any problem with it going through.
Good.
Some of the great things about it is that a lot of things that I've been really striving to get done over the last 18 months is coming to fruition. And some of those things are, we have not been paying our county employees enough at the lower end. And so we're not able to hire people, no one's applying. And so I've been wanting to adjust those pay scales, and we're going to do that in this budget. And so it's not gonna be a straight percentage all the way across. Like, that's really the most, well, it's not the right way to do it, to say, okay, we'll give everybody a 10% raise. Well, 10% for someone that's working for 30,000 is a $3,000 raise. Someone that works for 100,000 gets a $10,000 raise,
Yeah.
and so it's upside down that way. It should be the reverse of that. And so we've come out with a formula that I've suggested that is going to change that to where the lowest paid people in the county are going to receive upwards of almost a 20% raise. Okay, and then at the very highest pay level, it'll be less than 2%, just barely over 1%. So everybody gets a raise, but it's going to be really heavily weighted at the bottom. And another thing that we saw in this past year was, excuse me, pay increases for our deputy sheriffs, which left the final piece of the puzzle with the detention officers. Excuse me, I got a frog trying to crawl up my throat.
Yeah, and detention officers, it's been just a challenge, and it's not just Gila County, but statewide, nationwide, law enforcement, whether, detention officers, the sheriffs, it's a challenge for everybody.
It's a challenge for everybody in all counties everywhere. Okay, so I'm a real believer in funding our public safety people. So we were able to fix the pay inequity at the deputy level, and that has helped retain deputies and get more. The detention officers were not getting paid enough, so many of them were leaving. We're down 22 positions, which creates real stress on keeping the jail here in Payson open.
Yes.
Causes a lot of financial distress to the town of Payson, because they have to transport their incarcerated down to Globe. So it's impacting Payson government about $4,500 a month. And so we need to fix that problem, and we did. We're going to fix it with this budget. And so what we've done is we've raised the detention officers' pay up into another step program that's competitive with other counties. And we did that 2 weeks ago, and since then there's been 10 to 15 new applicants.
Oh, that is wonderful.
It is. So
it's great. Yes.
It's really good. So not only have we increased wages across our county employees, we've also done that with our public safety. Another thing I was able to do was purchase a drone, $40,000 drone for the search and rescue people, which is really a part of the sheriff's department.
Yeah, yeah.
This drone, it's enormous, you know.
Yeah.
And the reason they need it, excuse me, is I got a tickle working right now.
Oh yeah.
They need to be able to carry some weight.
Yes.
Water, radio, food, and get it to maybe a rescue situation.
Medication.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so crossing a river, going up a mountain,
Yeah.
not necessarily requiring the wait time it takes for people to hike up to a situation. So very needed. And
yeah. Yeah, we're very familiar with that, you know, having Randy Roberson, who is no longer doing the news, but moving on to doing some contract work and mock disaster work, which is great for him, great opportunity. But yeah, being down in Tonto Basin, you know, and he just upgraded his drone to be able to carry a little more weight, so that way
prescriptions.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we're going to put a bridge in that'll probably eliminate.
Yeah, it'll you know, eliminate that, but you know, over the maybe 2 years, you know, a year and a half, 2 years or longer, until that gets done. It's still something, and even the county, you know, having one search and rescue.
Search and rescue is so this drone will be used and available for all emergency situations throughout the county and even elsewhere.
Nice.
We have a magnificent search and rescue.
Oh, yeah.
They travel around to help people.
Yeah.
A lot of volunteers there, and so I've supported them with a new radio system last year that will, it's basically a radio system that is self-contained, does not rely on any signals from a tower or a satellite. And so they're able to track where everyone is, all of the rescue personnel, And then they can also use this drone now and move a radio up to someone that's in distress. You know, how are you doing? What's going on? What's your condition? What do you need? We can start working. So it very probably will save lives over time.
Yeah, we had a guest from Search and Rescue last week. Oh my gosh, I forget her name. But she was a canine handler, and she has 3 dogs that are part of Search and Rescue. She's an author. She'll be at the Payson Book Festival on the 23rd of July. But yeah, she was sharing some stories and talking about, you know, just some of the rescues that she's been on.
They're fully equipped. So they do a lot of rescues down in Fossil Creek, but they can climb mountains with ropes. They can scuba dive. They have dogs. They have horses. They have raft, a boat. They have, I mean, they have a lot of stuff. And so I support them fully. And the Sheriff's Department last year, we also funded for them because they got a partial grant, and then we had to fund another $100,000 toward it. However, the grant paid for half of the need to get these cameras that the deputies would wear. You know, and so whenever they encounter something, it's being filmed, it's being recorded, and this will cut down on unnecessary lawsuits or anything like that, where someone claims something happened. Well, now we're going to have video and audio proof.
The body cams. They're you know, great. They, you know, work both ways, where they protect the sheriffs, they protect law enforcement, and the individual. You know, so there can be an accurate account of what happened.
You pull over a vehicle, and then there's no recording of what goes on, and a person can say, "I was harassed." I was, you know, it was inappropriate, anything like that, and so that all goes away. And that's really a benefit. So it was well worth the money to have that become, and it's what everyone is going to. It's really just leaping up right here into the century we're in to make sure that everyone is safe, and that we reduce the amount of lawsuits that may come our way.
So the county today, the elections office, busy day for them because early ballots get mailed out today.
Early ballots and early voting start today. So if you want to vote early, you can just go right down to our new building, the Tommy Klein Martin building, and vote. Walk right in there and go vote.
Get it done.
Yes. And so voting occurs down there. You can also, if you have a mail-in ballot, you can also take it down there. You don't have to trust the post office or a drop box if you don't believe in drop boxes. Okay. Now, I personally don't believe in drop boxes, and it is an option for us to have those. And so that came before the Board of Supervisors on June 21st. And what it was a vote to determine whether or not we're going to issue various intergovernmental agreements with the various locations that these, I believe there's 11 or 9, I can't recall the amount, drop boxes throughout the county. Okay. I don't believe in it. It's an option. I don't think we need to do it. It was a request. I voted against it. Okay, but it did still pass. The other 2 supervisors voted for it. And so we do have drop boxes for your convenience, but if you don't trust them, if you don't want them, you can take your ballot right down to the new building at the county here on Main and the Beeline and turn them in right there, if that makes you feel better. And I would actually suggest you do that. So if you do mail it, if you want to save the county some money, that's $1.08 every time it gets mailed that we have to pay. So you multiply that by thousands. You know, you got a lot of money that is unnecessarily, if you just can take the time to come down and drop it off.
Especially if it is convenient, if you're in town or, you know, not far, or if you're coming to town. You're coming to town, and, you know, just add it to the list of places to stop. And just drop it off at the county building.
And if you do trust the drop boxes, which I'm not saying they're not trustworthy, I just don't believe in them, then we do have a drop box at the new county complex. It's at the northwest corner of the property. The closest to Bonanza Square or say the post office itself. So
Yes.
you would drive in there. They actually have some signage now where it's a one-way loop,
Okay.
and then you can drop it at that
Okay.
location.
So if the county building, if it wasn't during normal operating hours,
Yep.
then you could put it in the drop box.
You can.
inside the building.
And it's a secure box. It is emptied daily
Mm-hmm.
through the sheriff's posse.
Okay.
And so it's as safe as you think it is,
Yeah.
okay?
There we go. So,
All of them do have cameras on them too.
yes. Oh, which is good. I mean, because you never know. I mean, just with people, and
Well,
crazy things.
I think 2 years ago, the election really made a lot of people wonder,
Mm-hmm.
and actually convinced a lot of people that was something going on with the presidential election.
Yeah, and I just wanted to clarify, not local election, but
Not
haven't
so much
heard-
local.
Yeah, and I've never really heard any I don't know, anything that would lead me to believe locally as far as in Gila County, town of Payson, that there's been any issues with elections or.
Countywide, there is some suspicious activity that occurred 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I can't identify what that exactly is, but the American people need to be able to trust in the election process.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the elections are 100% pure and good,
Mhm.
if people don't trust in the process, they don't trust in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need to be able to trust in it. It needs to be a good and fair election every time.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I have never early voted. We've
Mhm.
never mailed in a ballot ever once.
Mm-hmm.
We always vote on election day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tradition with us, and it's just the way we are. That's
Mhm.
our choice.
Yeah.
You have more choices now than, say, 3 decades ago, where everybody really needed to vote.
Yeah.
But,
I remember 3 decades ago I did mail-in voting
yeah?
because I was stationed overseas.
Oh, sure.
So.
Well, and you know, there are special
yeah,
cases, but
exactly.
now we've kind of opened up the freedom to vote in a large variety of ways. I'm not
Mhm.
sure I'm a big fan of that,
Mm-hmm.
because then it requires a lot more vigilance to make sure things are going correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And so not so much here likely corruption-wise, but in some places throughout the country,
Yeah.
it's almost just a proven fact that there was corruption, and there has been corruption going
Yeah.
back decades.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
been presidents that have won the presidency that likely cheated to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it has happened.
Yes.
So-
Yeah. Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
to prevent that.
Yeah. And like you said, prevent it definitely on a local level so it doesn't happen.
Right.
You know.
So I voted against the drop boxes,
Mhm.
but they're still out there,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's just my stance. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm representing my constituents with that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a candidate forum last night that Payson
Okay.
Tea Party conducted. You're probably familiar with that because I
Mhm.
think you probably participated in
Mhm.
one or more of those at the Ponderosa Bible Church. And so the candidates running for District 1 Supervisor were all there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question kind of came up about drop boxes. I can't remember how it all occurred, but I asked the audience, how many of you want to see do not like drop boxes? That's
Mhm.
what the question I had. Almost everyone raised their hand. They don't like it. They don't
Mhm.
like drop boxes. And I said, well, I'm representing you
Mhm.
because I don't like them either, and I voted no for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I garnered a little applause over that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, so we'll the voting again, early ballots and early voting starts today.
Yes, it does. Starts today. It will end, is it the last day of July? Because our primary is August 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the last day of July will be, and don't quote me, but I think it's right around that day
Mm-hmm.
that early voting will cease.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And the only way you can vote after that, and not vote on the primary, is through an emergency basis. Okay, so they call it emergency voting.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do try and accommodate an emergency case.
Mhm.
So let's say you did not vote early and something happens on August 1st,
Mhm.
which will, it's an emergency of some sort in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to vote the next day. They will accommodate that.
Gotcha.
emergency vote, okay?
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah. So when we have a lot of meetings, I know, and it's good.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of meetings this time of year, but a lot surrounding the budget. So now that that has kind of been finalized, what are you looking at, and what is the county, I guess, looking at? What are some of the things you're focusing on?
We're looking at doing a lot of great things this next fiscal year, which
Mhm.
has started already. So
Mm-hmm.
we have $10 million that was given to us from an ARPA fund.
Mhm.
Okay, the
Mhm.
ARPA really is the American Rescue Plan Act or
Yeah.
something like that. And so it's $10 million.
Mhm.
It's kind of like free money. We don't have to match anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we can use it for a variety of projects. So
Mhm.
we're looking at doing, we haven't voted strictly on it yet, but we are investigating, well, the Board of Supervisors has had a work session. So what a work session does is it lets us talk freely
Mm-hmm.
without voting to give staff direction,
Mhm.
okay? So now staff has the direction that a few things that we're interested in is remodeling the sheriff's department here in Payson, okay?
Okay.
That building needs a massive remodel
Yes.
and brought up to date technology-wise and all of that. We're gonna
Mhm.
throw $1 million or more at that,
Okay.
okay? We also are we're forming master plans for 2 other projects, and that is the Veterans Retreat
Mm-hmm.
that is in Young.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Over 200 acres. We got that land for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should say $1. We paid
Yeah.
for it. And we should have it deeded to us permanently through a congressional act soon. And there's some historic properties on there. There's an administrative site. There's some housing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to turn that into the most magnificent veterans retreat that the country will have.
Wow.
So it's going to be awesome, and it's going to have an RV park for veterans, all that.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's going to be great. It's going to draw a lot of veterans to Young
Mhm.
and that area, and so it's going to be really great. We're going to start with about $1 million on that. It might
Uh-huh.
take $2 million to get there.
Any maybe money going towards paving that road?
We're seeking money for paving the road, but that's going to come through the federal government.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
nice.
getting closer to that. That's
Yeah.
the 512 road.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that needs to be paved.
Yeah.
And so it's one of these kind of shovel-ready projects.
Yes.
So we're just, believe me, we are out there asking for that money.
Yes.
Okay. Now, another project is the fairgrounds that's down in Globe. We have
Okay.
the county owns a couple hundred acres there. That used to be like a horse racing fairground. So that's no longer really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So we've already started cleaning that site up, and we're developing a master plan. The master
Mhm.
plan is gonna be asking citizens, so we're forming about a 12 to 15 member citizen group and I've suggested 3 names from our area
Mm-hmm.
that are heavily involved in the fairgrounds up here,
Mm-hmm.
the rodeo up here, planning concerts up here, and,
Yeah.
they're builders and developers of community projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're gonna be working on a master plan for that. What are we gonna do with that? Are we gonna put in softball fields? Are we gonna put in an RV park? Are we
Mhm.
gonna have rodeo grounds? It's got covered stands.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do with this? And we just passed, actually last, what's today, Wednesday? Yesterday, so
Yeah.
Tuesday. It was a long day yesterday. So we just passed some spending to get started on cleaning that place up. They're gonna remove a lot of the horse, the railings going around, they're dilapidated. They're gonna remove some of the horse stalls and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's a project that I'm excited about. It needs to be renewed, and we can have concerts there, we can have car shows there, we can have rodeos and ball fields, tennis courts, whatever we want. So
Uh-huh.
the master plan will determine what we want to do going forward and what we need to spend to do that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. And
It is.
this is all done with money that's not coming from local taxpayers.
Which is wonderful.
It
I
is,
mean, that's
yes.
great. Something also that I know we talked a little bit about before the program was, and I think is wonderful news as well, is ADOT with their 5-year plan,
Yes.
construction program, put Lion Springs, that section of 260, Highway 260, back on their project. And I believe, looking at it, it's slated for 2026 is when completed. It would be completed, but that's a $109 million
Yes.
as of today, I guess,
This is
project.
stupid expensive for 3 miles.
Yes.
But it needs to be done. It's an
Mhm.
absolute bottleneck, and
Yes.
it's a dangerous section of road with no guardrails. I mean,
Yeah.
it winds through there, and we have so much traffic that comes on our weekends through that bottleneck.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that we don't take care of that. So they've already purchased all the necessary land that needs to be
Mhm.
done. They've done the NEPA studies. It just needs to get done. And so finally, it's on the schedule. It's something I've been pushing for, calling on.
Yes.
But ADOT is another large bureaucratic kind of a thing, like
Mhm.
the Forest Service and all those, that
Mhm.
they kind of do what they want. And so you just kind of keep the pressure on, and
Yeah.
because it is very needed for our area.
Well, and that's the thing is, it has been on the 5-year plan before. It was removed, and it basically was removed because there were other communities, other areas,
Yeah.
other projects that they received more pressure from residents or from different people on that project, and that
Right.
kind of got that one on and then pushed the Lion Springs off. So I know, in talking to some people about this, it's great if, our community, the county, the town, residents, different organizations can keep that positive pressure on ADOT, letting them know, we're very thankful this is on the plan, it's very necessary, it's,
Right.
and
And please don't pull it back off.
yes,
So,
yes.
yes, there's thousands of miles of road that ADOT maintains or builds.
Mm-hmm,
There's hundreds of bridges that they maintain or build.
yeah,
So it's an enormous budget, it's an enormous thing, it's run by a board of directors.
mm-hmm,
And so keeping a project like this on the schedule is extremely important.
yes, yeah, and I know, you should be able to find, we've gone to, some different, board meetings, and it's good to, have a presence there, you're, you can speak,
Right.
on, different items, so it, definitely does not hurt, and actually it has a very positive impact if there's different representatives or members from the community at those board meetings, and again, just, being very positive, keeping it positive, but expressing the need for that.
There's a gentleman by the name of Steve Stratton, and he's
Mhm.
retiring. He was an employee with Gila County, and I don't remember what his job was. He was top level in
Mhm.
Gila County and went to the ADOT Board of Directors. So he's been a great advocate for Gila County.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That is good. Well, goodness, 10:30 already.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you have a long list there. I know there's just so
Oh, yeah.
many things. When is next meeting or something that's open to the public where people can come?
Well, I tell you, the Chamber of Commerce is going to put on another candidate forum, and
Oh,
it'll
okay.
be next Tuesday at the casino, and it's a luncheon. It starts at 11.
Okay.
Okay, and there's probably a fee associated with that because you're going to eat lunch or whatever.
There is, I think, for chamber members, I want to say it's $20. For
Mhm.
non-chamber members, $30.
Okay,
But again, that money goes to cover the cost of the meal, and also the chamber, gets a little extra. But it's a great opportunity to hear the candidates.
yeah, please come. I would
Mhm.
love to be able to talk to you in a forum just like that, explain what we're doing, what I've been doing for the last 18 months.
Mhm.
I would appreciate your vote because I've built a tremendous momentum right now to
Mhm.
get more done going forward.
Mhm.
And so I've done a tremendous amount in the last 18 months and look forward to serving more.
There we go. So again, that is next Tuesday at the Matazel Hotel and Casino, and there is more information on that on the Rim Country Regional Chamber of Commerce Facebook page or on their website, on their event calendar. They'll have all of that information. So, well, thank you so much, Steve.
Please vote.
Coming in. Yeah, and it's important, get out, and whether it's early voting, mail-in ballot, voting at the polls August 2nd.
The District 1 supervisor will be decided in the primary.
Mhm.
It's not going to go all the way to November, so
There we go.
vote
There
in
we
the
go.
primary.
So in the primary. All right, guys. So thank you, Steve, for coming in today.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, and thank you everyone for listening. And again, a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring the KRIM Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music with some Neil Young, Greg Allman, Peter Gabriel, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, that is there. I gotta take some songs off, but